Hey Malifaux fans, this is Crazy Carl from the Weird Forums, back with another Malifaux video battle report. This is, we played a 35 Soulstone game. This was me against Chris, aka Twisted Metal on the Weird Forums. It was a Marcus versus Avatar Summer game, so very interesting matchup. It was a lot of fun to play, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. We had a nice little board set up, a lot of blocking terrain, a lot of stuff to interact with, as you'll see, which would be very, very relevant. So, let's get into it. I brought along Summer with his avatar attached, his henchman Ophelia, a giant mosquito, a slop hauler, a hog whisperer, and 4 bayou gremlins with a 6 soulstone cache. I took a bit of a larger soulstone cache because I like to have that when I'm using Ophelia, and the avatar can use it a lot too. I had claim jump. I had actually flipped the red joker, so I was able to choose my strategy, so I thought he would be really good for that. And then I had stake a claim on the big tower in the center of the board, and then thwart, which I obviously had hidden because you have to hide it. Chris brought along Marcus with 8 soulstones. He had the Jackalope attached to Marcus, Karis with a Student of Conflict attached, 2 Slurids, and a Mechanical Rider. So you can see the Slurids set up on one flank, and Marcus was nearby. He was in the center. And then he had Sabotage on the little tower, which was next to that little Tower of Blood you saw earlier, and Primal Source, which is kind of difficult to do. And then his scheme was Plant Evidence. So there you see the Mechanical Rider set up on another flank. And Chris had a really good setup for this board. He made sure he had a lot of avenues to get down the board and basically be able to plant the evidence, because there's a lot of terrain on my side of the board for him to use. And I was at a bit of a disadvantage because I deployed first. I could have spread out my crew, but Summer doesn't do very well if he's spread out from his stuff, so I think I kind of maybe dropped the ball a little bit and didn't spread out a little bit more. I probably should have played centrally, to be honest, but I was worried about being able to have lots of cover to deal with Karis, because Karis can wreak havoc on gremlins. There you can see Marcus, Karis, the student, and the Jackalope in the center of the board. And there were a couple of really good towers for Karis to take advantage of and have good firing angles. So that was going to be really difficult for me to deal with my crew. And Marcus, of course, is very, very quick, so he's going to be able to take advantage of the large amounts of terrain to work with too. So turn 1 was basically just a general advance. The Mechanical Rider moved up the board. I kind of spread out a couple of gremlins just to kind of be speed bumps. Karis moved up behind that yellow tower there, along with the Student Conflict. And the Slurids, they just booked it up the board. I did not realize how fast those guys are, which I probably should have. They've got a 9-inch leap, which I thought it was a 7-inch leap. And then I think they were walk 5 or walk 6. They're just incredibly, incredibly fast. So not super fun for me, but what are you going to do? Here you can see some models set up behind the tower, Karis, the student, and the Jackalope. And then Marcus moved up, and I think he was able to get the Sabotage turn 1. Because the Slurids moved up, and Chris was able to get the free charge plus the hair ability to give him his walk instead of charge. So he was able to get up to the tower, and he got Sabotage turn 1. There was nothing I could do about it. Sabotage is a pretty good scheme for Marcus. Whereas my crew just kind of spread out a little bit. I believe I summoned a few Bayou Gremlins, just because I had a hand. That's what I normally do, is I decide on turn 1 when I have Summer as Avatar, is do I have like 2 or 3 11 pluses? If I do, then I summon some Bayou Gremlins. If I don't, then I generally just go for the Manifest. Which I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I actually did not do that. I actually got his Manifest requirement on turn 1. I didn't summon anything because my hand was poop. But I also didn't have a mask for a reactivate on turn 2, so that kind of really changed how I was going to play. So Chris was able to use his Slurids to great effect. I think he got 2 plants off before I was able to get anywhere close to him. And what I ended up doing was getting a long chain of mosquitoes. I was trying to get mosquitoes over there so I could pull my finger on the Slurids. The Slurids are reasonably hard to attack. They're not easy to shoot at, and they have reasonably high defense. So attacking them is not the best option. But pull my finger kind of ignores all that. So that's what I tried to do. Here you can see I had the long chain of models. I may have misplayed this a little bit, not sure, because some of my mosquitoes were a bit out of range. Basically, I was setting up to do a big pull my finger bomb on the Slurids if I won activation or initiative on turn 3, which, as it turns out, I did. That one mosquito that you saw there, I think, was able to be summoned in range to be able to pull my finger. So I got off on pull my finger very easily. But what happened is on turn 3, I won initiative. There you can see a couple Bayou Gremlins that are just sitting back there with the Mechanical Rider. Spoiler: the Mechanical Rider is really important. I was able to get off pull my finger, and I was able to do a lot of damage. I got 2 damage on each of the guys. I won initiative. I had Ophelia walk up and shoot Marcus, sorry. So I shot Marcus with Ophelia and did quite a bit of damage because I was able to cheat in the red joker with her dumb luck trigger, which I gave her on the ram. I gave her the ram for. using up one of her zeros, which was probably my big mistake here. So I was able to blow up Marcus, which ironically was not, it's what I wanted to do, but I didn't do it correctly. So what ended up happening is I'd use the other zero action to have Summer go, and Summer wasn't able to companion with all of his mosquitoes, which meant I wasn't going to be able to get off and pull my fingers. So what I ended up having to do is I had Summer activate, and he had the mosquitoes activate. One was able to get a pull my finger off, and then Summer shot into a giant melee and was able to get some blast markers to kill off the Slurds. So I was able to kill off the Slurds and Marcus in one activation, which is pretty cool. Problem is, here you can see the Mechanical Rider activated, got nimble, and then walked into my deployment zone and activated on the last piece of evidence. So he's able to get his full planned evidence on turn 3. Pretty brutal for me. Here you can see Karis up in the tower with the Student Conflict hiding behind her, which is really good. The tower makes it really hard for me to get at her, but she's within 3 inches of the Student Conflict, so the Student Conflict's able to get her fast very easily. So really cool positioning with Karis there for Chris. Here you will see coming up the aftermath of the giant death ball. I killed off, the 2 Slurds and Marcus, but I was trying to figure out a way to stop him from getting the evidence, which I did, or thought I did, and then I forgot about the Mechanical Rider being able to get nimble. So very unfortunate for me, but what are you going to do? That's what you're going to do. So I was stuck in basically this part of the board. I knew I was down a lot of points, and I basically was playing for a draw at this point. I had to get my claim jump and then stake a claim. I couldn't get thwart because I lost it on the sabotage early on, and I had already lost planned evidence, so basically I was playing for a draw because he wasn't going to get Primal Source because I killed off Marcus. So the rest of the game was basically cleanup. This Bio Gremlin lasted a really long time against the Mechanical Rider because the Mechanical Rider was just not getting very good flips, and it wasn't worth him cheating in to deal with it because it's a Bio Gremlin. What does it matter? Here you can see Karis is stuck up in the tower. Chris made kind of a misplay, I guess, here. I had a couple mosquitoes that I set up in the tower, and he threw a lot of ammo at him. I think it was like 2 or 3 Soulstones worth of attacks, plus his actions, and he was able to kill off the 2 mosquitoes, which meant instead of going for a pull my finger attack, which I was going for, which probably wasn't the best thing to do, I just manifested Summer and moved him up the board. I was able to give him flight and reactivate going into turn 5. I was able to charge Karis, did a bunch of damage to her, and basically kill her. I think, I charged and killed her, and then between a couple casts of Swamp Gas, I was able to kill her off. I knocked the Mechanical Rider down really low, again, getting the trigger for the free Piglet, and was able to charge out and kill it. So I then just moved on to the claim jump. So I was able to get 4 points for my claim jump, and then 2 points for my stake of claim because I had a bunch of significant models. Chris had no models left on the table, but he got his 4 points for his plant evidence because he completed that, and then 2 points for his sabotage, making a 6-6 tie. So a really great game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.